Hello YouTubers, welcome back. Well, today's job at hand or project is getting on with an oil change in this my old Farmall 806 diesel here. It's dragged on way too long, all hung up on account of the oil drain plug crush washer or sealing washer that nobody seemed to have in stock. So this is dragged on way too long and I need to get this done with. So anyways, without further ado, we're going to get into it here and I'll introduce you to the tractor here, so to speak. Okay, what we got here is my International Farmall 806 diesel. This is, I believe, according to the serial number, a 1966 model. Very desirable tractor still to this day. I know a lot of collectors are after them, and these old girls are still getting the job done around a lot of farms all over North America. So they built a lot of them back in the day, and they were just, some people love them, some people hate them, but for the most part they have a pretty big following, almost what you'd say a cult-like following. So anyways, I picked this one up a number of years back at a farm auction, of course. Had a real ugly, crappy front end loader somebody had put on it, and it did not work worth crap, so I took it off and made the tractor look awful. So anyways, this is the end result, what we got. The fenders are still sitting a little bit too high. They had lifted them up for the clearance for the goofy hay rack loader frame they had on there. So anyways, I pretty much got this thing down to the last few things I wanted to do on it. Life circumstances, well, occupied my time for a couple, 3 years here, and I didn't get back to working on it like I should have. But they were pretty capable tractors in their day, and actually still are to this day. But anyways, we're going to get on to it here and show you what the task at hand is. My whole oil change got literally held up on account of this stupid something simple. Like I said, my drain plug here, this this little copper crush washer or sealing washer, nobody had one in stock anywhere, literally in North America, except for, oh, I think there was, like I say, I'm in Canada, so there was one package of these left, and it was somewheres down in South Carolina that my local auto parts distributor here actually tracked down and asked if I wanted to wait till they could bring it in, but it took like literally 6 weeks for them to get this stupid thing in. The shipment of these was tied up in customs somewheres on a shipping pallet or whatever. Of course, they don't make these anymore in North America. These are all made now apparently in China. For these old International McCormick Farmalls, and covered the whole gamut from the 806 all the way up to the 1066. A whole bunch of models in there. They all use, I think, the same size drain plug. And what these are is they're called an M22. That's the size, a 22 millimeter or M. Well, I don't know what it's 7/8, but it works out to, I guess, like roughly 22 millimeters. So what these are, you can actually get these for, you could get these little washers through Case IH, but they were at the, I don't know, when I priced them out or phoned and asked, they were something like $15 or $16 through them for just one of these little common service washers. You can get them at the auto parts store for a package of 2 for literally $2 or $3. So, and these, just if you guys are working on any of these international tractors, if you're curious, these washers are actually the same size as what's used on a lot of the Toyota, like the RAV4s, and I think some of the Toyota Camry cars and stuff like that with the V6 engines. Same with also this cross references over to a lot of the Chrysler Fiat or Fiat products, like the Jeep Wrangler and Jeep Cherokee and type vehicles or whatever. They use the same 22 millimeter washer. So a lot cheaper to go that route if you have one of these old tractors, and you do have to, some people This one actually, literally, somebody had, it was leaking oil, threw it around the drain plug and I couldn't figure out why. And when I took it off, obviously there was no washer. Somebody lost it a long time ago, or just whatever, it fell apart when they took it off, and they didn't bother replacing it because they weren't going to pay. Probably went to the dealer and found out it was like 15 bucks, of course, for one of these washers, and said, well, the hell with that. But unfortunately, and you're dripping and leaking oil. It wasn't a horrible leak, but just enough to make a mess all over the bottom side of the tractor. A few drips a day and wind off the fan, and you've got a mess spread all over. So anyways, we're going to put this, I got this washer put back on here. Like I said, it fits perfect. It just slips over the threads. So anyways, these have your drain plug here right underneath. For some reason there's a bit of resistance in this thread, which I'm not particularly crazy about, but somebody else had goofed around with this obviously before I got the tractor. So anyways, snug this up, and don't overdo it on these things, because these are just a tin pan. They're not the cast iron pan like on some tractors, so you got to be a little bit mindful of that. Don't get too carried away, or you know. Okay, that's enough. Anyways, we'll get on to taking the canister filters off here right away. Now, when it comes to things like those copper sealing washers, don't be afraid to literally snug them up and then back them off. Do it 2-3 times to get them, especially a new one, not a one that's already in good, that's been used. It's pre-squished or pre-crushed or whatever you want to call it, to fit the plug in the pan. You can just snug them up and you're good to go. But if you're putting a new one in, it's kind of a good idea. You can just, like I say, tighten them up and back them off. Do it 2-3 times to get them to seat. If you got a cast iron pan, be careful. But you can just give them a little tap with a small hammer, a light tap, just to set your tighten them down, and then give them a slight tap just to get that copper to seat a little better, and then just give it a little tweak just to, you know, finish seating that copper washer so you get a good seal. This one doesn't have the spin-on filters. This one still has the old school canister filters with the paper cartridge. A lot of people didn't like these, and they switched them over to the newer, I think like the 856 tractors. I think the 856, I know the 826 for sure, had the filter body. You could drop this off and swap them out for the spin-on canisters, or spin-on filters I mean, and get rid of these canisters. These canisters, if you're careful putting them on, taking them off, and sealing them up right when you do it, they work fine. But and you over torque them, you can crack the canister body or dent it, and then it'll leak. And this one's leaking not because I think it's over tight. I can see just by the base nut that, again, this one is fine, the back one is fine, it doesn't leak. The front one leaks like, well, not like crazy, but it leaks enough again that it makes a mess all over the side of the tractor. And what happened is, as somebody obviously, when they changed the filters the last time, again, they have little copper crush washers underneath the nut there to seal the canister. And this one, the washer's there, I can see, and this one is not. Somebody lost it and they didn't go to the dealer to replace it. I actually picked up a couple of brand new ones. Yeah, they're not cheap either. I think they're like $5-6 each at the dealer, because if I knew the size, you could just literally get them there again for a small vehicle size, which I'm going to keep one old one here when I take it off and use it as comparison, and I'll pick up a couple of spares. But I'm just going to get some automotive ones because they're a heck of a lot cheaper than going to the dealer. But I wanted to make sure that I had the actual right size. So yeah, anyways, I already backed these, loosened this, broke this one loose before already. This one, I don't know if they're all the same, but on the 806 here, it's a 3/4 inch bolt head. So be forewarned, these things are full of oil, and you're gonna have a mess on your hand. And I'm wearing my old Hobo Bob hoodie here. I'm all raggedy and dirty, but that's exactly what you need when you're doing this kind of stuff.
and also the bugs are still very bad, and we got a bunch of these little we call them no-see-ums here, but they're those biting gnats, and I'm sweating like a bugger. We're in direct sun here today and it's pretty warm out, but you got no choice. You do what you got to do when you got work to do outside. Bugs are making life that much more miserable, but anyways. Okay, well, so far so good. We're not leaking oil like crazy here because we're okay, this is going to want to fight me anyways, so. Like I say, this is the first oil change I've done in this tractor since I got it. I haven't used it very much. This tractor was sparingly. This was kind of my my pride and joy project, so to speak, or whatever here. I always wanted an 806, and I finally picked one up a few years back at a sale. I just have not run it much, but it's always a good idea to change out your oil when you're playing around with somebody else's. You don't know what they've got for oil or what they're doing, so we dumped the oil out, but now I got to change out these filters. We're going to dump be careful you don't lose any springs or they have like a retainer in the bottom of these, so, but I got to dump this cruddy oil out of here, so there we go. Yeah, that's pretty nasty stuff. It's not chunky or anything like that, not nasty in that regard, so it's just really, really dirty, so who knows when the last time this poor old girl's seen an actual oil change. It runs very, very good. These were very strong running tractors, these engines. This was the, it's not the German made, this is the actual American made international motor. I think they were the D361s they were called. Very, 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 very spirited motor, you could say. Like, they got a very sharp throttle response, incredible little, for their size they punch way above their weight. I was very surprised. I always liked these tractors, but now that I own one and I've run one, I wish I would have had one years earlier. I always liked these since I was a little kid. I don't know why, I was just fascinated with these 806s. So finally able to find one, and these row crop specials were the Farmall, I guess they were the Farmall. Here on the Canadian prairies, most of the international 806s were the Western Special or Wheatland Special, I guess you'd call them. They had the big ugly round fenders and some sort of aftermarket Winkler cab on them or something like that they called. Some guys like them, but they're not really my cup of tea. Still, I mean, under the basic sheet metal, they were exactly the same tractor, but these Farmalls, though, with the little row crop fenders and the high ride style body, is always loved the look of them. So anyways, got most of this cruddy oil drained out of here. Yeah, see, they just have these paper cartridge filters, so somebody actually used Case IH filters. Hey, look at that. Paid big money for it, but anyways. Okay, how does this canister look inside here? You guys won't be able to see because the sun will be shining kind of oddball in here, but they have a whole, they have kind of a goofy get up in here. They've got, they literally have a lower retaining, well, like a washer for a cup to support the filter, and then they've got a spring, a couple of washers, and then a small backing washer, and they actually have a snap ring and E-clip in here that holds the whole assembly down, and that keeps pressure on the bolt and the canister, and yeah, it's a nice setup. Like I say, in here they've got a little copper washer here. Now why somebody took the other one out, I don't know. I'm gonna have to play with that or whatever, but let's make sure you get all this crud drained out of the bottom of these canisters, because they do load up, and they've got, of course, the little rubber sealing O-ring here that comes in the package here with your filters. So make sure you dig this O-ring out of here, that little flat ring, sealing ring, because you go and put the new one on top of it, you're going to have a leak guaranteed. So, but yeah, nothing too horrible in here. It's all pretty decent. So, okay. Stay there. And move my slop bucket over. This one is not going to, which one? Because somebody took the retainer out of it, so not good, not good. The other one is together like it should be, and this one somebody's goofed around in here and lost part of it. I got this, I got the first canister here, the one that's all together and complete. I got it rinsed out with parts cleaner and dried off or whatever, and it's there was no real bad sludge or any metal flake or anything in the canister. So, and the filters, yeah, they're dirty, but nothing in there to suggest anything going wrong. So I'm very happy to see that. So I think this motor is pretty healthy, and she should live a long life yet, hopefully. So, anyways, we're gonna get on with putting a new filter. Like I say, any kind of little hook and pick set or whatever. I mean, this is just a little short-handled tire pick that I had from years ago. You got to get these O-rings out of these. Oh man, this thing is. This one's glued in, and it's hard. Oh. These little flat quad ring or you know, oil filter rings or whatever. This thing is hard like wood. It's been in here long. That's been in there a long time. I'm going to run Wix filters this time around, and if I run Hastings, Baldwin, or Wix, they're all good filters. Wix is probably, we could consider one of the better ones of the whatever. Local filter distributor had some kind of a spring special or whatever. I don't remember what the discount was, so I picked up a set for the old girl here. So yeah, nice looking filter. Wix part number for these is, see if I can get you guys in here close, 51151. That's these style canister filters. They're metal reinforced. This one is a better filter. Obviously, you can see it's got the metal reinforcing pleat inside, and it's also got the reinforcing body around the outside. Those other ones, they're metal reinforced inside, but they're all paper on the outside. So these are definitely a good quality filter. Okay. This particular filter, I do believe, are unidirectional. It doesn't matter whether it's one side is up or one side is down. They're made to be the same. They seal the same on either or. So. You got to make sure that you have your filter centered in here. Now, I would like most spin-on filters. It's my preference to always pre-fill them with oil. Do what you want. Manufacturers always tell you not to. But in this particular case, because you've got a rotating bolt through the body, if you put oil in there, chances are you're going to end up with half of it on your hands. Going to run right through until you get it tightened up. So this one didn't. I could probably get away with it, but we're going to go with what the manufacturer suggests, and we'll put it in there empty. Which, like I say, I'm not crazy about that. But oh yeah, my O-ring here. They do give you the one sealing ring that goes around the outside of the canister. You got to put it in the groove here. So. Now make sure your sealing surfaces are all clean. There's no. What did I do with that? Make sure you don't have any bits of old, especially if like this one here was kind of dry. Run a pick around the inside ring here of your sealing groove of the casting, just to make sure you're good. Because you don't want to have any old bits of rubber in there or anything that can distort your sealing ring, or you're going to have problems. You're going to have a leak pretty much immediately. Now we're good. That's clean. So now we got to get the old one in here. Sorry, old one. We got the old one out, we got to get the new one in, stupid. Now this can be a little bit of a chase your tail around in circles type of deal here, because it's going to want to fall back out on you when you're trying to get it in here, and you got to make sure that it is in and not half tipped out or whatever, because then you're going to have, unfortunately, these nowadays, the older rings used to be better. What you'd get in all fuel filters, same thing. You put them in there, they would kind of, you know, bite in, and you could push them in and they'd self-hold themselves. These newer ones now, not so much. Literally it just wants to fall out. So this is going to be a little bit of a screw around deal here to get this, I don't know. We're just going to get this started here because we've got a long thread to go. And I'm just going to have to hold it up until I get close and then try and, whatchamacallit, it's kind of a real crappy whatchamacallit. I'm not particularly crazy about this here, but this is going to be interesting. This is already turning into some kind of a weird shit show, so to speak. Oh yeah, fall in the canister. Gotta love manufacturers. Even when you think you're getting quality, you're still screwing you around by now how am I supposed to keep this in here as it gets tighter and tighter? Yeah, sure. Oh boy, oh boy. Ow! This is one of these screwball deals where it's gonna... This is how you end up with things not... Yeah, okay. You know what, I might end up having to go into my inventory of older, I always, if I have extra sealing rings and stuff, I literally have them in a container in the garage, in a plastic bag, and I put them in a bucket or, you know, in a small sealed coffee can type of thing. Sometimes manufacturers, well, they used to be good, they'd literally give you sometimes 2 or 3 extras in a package, so if you goofed up like this, you'd have a spare one. What's been going on as usual with all the cost-cutting measures nowadays is more and more, they don't include any extras. So what's happening is if you goof this up, you end up having to go to your local filter shop or auto supply store or machinery dealer and go see if they have one and pay them $3 a ring for something that should have been included in the first place. Of course, I can't see what's going on directly behind here, so this is... Okay, I think... Ow! No, it is not. Oh, for shit. This is just, this is why a lot of guys hated the canister ones. Yes, I know, but I'm sure there's some out there that have a certain way of doing this or whatever. They say, well, put a little bit of grease in there, dummy, or whatever, hold it in there. And you know what? I think that's because what's going to happen is this is going to tighten down one part like it's doing here. It's going round and round, and it's going to slip through and going to get caught. And when I tighten, it's going to cut the ring, and then it's screwed. So. Okay, got to take this back off and go find the problem is these sealing rings they give you are so small. Yeah. These sealing rings they give you are so small that they don't bite in the body of the upper filter body. These used to be, whatchamacallit, like I say, you'd slip them in, there was actually resistance, you had to kind of push them in, and then you had time to spin your canister back on, worked great. But what's happening, and I can tell already, this is kind of a weird, hard, dry, well, of course it's not rubber, it's some kind of a synthetic plastic sealing ring. Man, I don't know. Anyways. Okay, again, I'll bring you guys back in a bit. I gotta go find I'm literally gonna have to put a little bit of grease or something on this just to tack it up so it stays stuck in there, hopefully. So,
I can get that canister back on her, because I keep screwing around like this. And like I say, I'm gonna cut this in half, and then I don't have any. I don't think I might have some spare ones, but if I don't, then this oil change is held up again for another couple of weeks before I get back into town.